Yeah. I'll I'm ready.
Yeah,
Right.
Brian.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Brian Cockerill, on the Brian Cockerill YouTube channel. I'm with our leader of our church, Tony Grainge, the famous Tony Grainge. Welcome, Tony. I can't shake your hand, obviously, because of the lockdown.
Nice one, thanks, Brian. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Just tell them what you do, Tony, please. The viewers.
My name's Tony Grainge. I'm a husband, got three kids, and I work for the church, Tees Valley Community Church. And I help lead Middlesbrough Lighthouse as well.
Yeah, we're just going to go back to when you were a child. What was it like growing up in Middlesbrough? That's where you're from, isn't it?
Yeah, from Middlesbrough. Grew up in Easterside, and Easterside is the best place to grow up. It was a lot of fun as a kid. We live right near a beck and football pitches and Fairdale riding our bikes. So growing up for me has a lot of good memories. I was one of 4 brothers and 1 sister. So yeah.
What did your mum and dad do for their living? What was there?
Yeah, our dad's a plater.
Right.
Worked with metal, and our mum worked in the local school, assistant cook.
What was it like growing up for your mum and dad and things? Was it good times? And
yeah,
do you
it
have
was
any
good
sisters,
time.
brothers? Or...
Yeah, like I said, I was one of 4 brothers, 1 sister. And I know a few kids, they get grounded when they're naughty, and but there was no way our mum was going to ground us with 4 lads in the house. So we were just always playing out, really. Always having a laugh.
What type of things did you get up to? Did you like play type of sports or anything like that?
Used to love football, played football every day.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Same as me.
Live for playing football. We live right next to Middlesbrough Municipal Golf Course.
Right, yeah.
So in the summer we're over there.
Yes.
Every day pinching golf balls and selling them to our dad's friends and stuff.
I used to do exact same. Hartlepool. What was it like at school? What was your school like?
Well, I went to secondary school. Went to a school called Brackenow, and was unruly to say the least. There wasn't much education going on there.
Right.
I was in all the top classes and I got all D's and an E. Which probably tells you something about the education.
Yeah.
I would describe school as fun. Like it was a laugh. All the lads I was knocking about with, we were there for fun, really. So a lot of good memories.
You obviously must have been popular then, but it was fun.
It was good. I think
that's it. Sorry about that. It's the weather must be bad. Sorry about that, Tony. It's just the gremlins in the camera. Yeah, go on, mate.
Yeah, when I left school working with our dad as a plater.
Oh, right.
And
most people did that in them days, didn't they? The dad would get them in the dock, or they'd get them in British Steel, and you'd follow the dad's trade, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So what was it like?
That was, well, it was going to be a well-paid job and things like that. But I was just terrible at it. Couldn't read the drawings, couldn't keep a steady hand to weld or thingy. The instructor said, in the 26 years I've done this job, you're the worst apprentice that I've ever had. So me and plating didn't mix really. Hated getting out of bed, hated work. All the lads
hated getting out of bed.
It was good crack because it was working with other men, so I enjoyed that. But the work, my brain just couldn't wrap itself around working like that.
So what did you do then for money wise? What did you?
Well, I worked as a
borrow off your dad.
Well, I worked as a plater up until I was about until I was 19.
From what age?
And from 16 to 19 I was working as that, and then
did you learn anything?
I learnt that I didn't want to be a player. That was the one thing that I learnt really. And up until I was 19, but then when I was 19 I started taking drugs, mainly ecstasy. When I started got into going out with tall trees every Saturday was where we liked going, and as soon as I started taking ecstasy,
it was the end thing then, wasn't it?
Yeah, everyone loved the music, loved the weekends, and then for someone who never had any motivation to work really, and never wanted to get out of bed, that really did strip every bit of motivation and I thought, you know what, sack getting out of bed. I'm just gonna party all weekend and sleep all week, and then that was me, and that was my play.
Was that how long were you in that bubble type of thing?
I was probably into the probably for about 2 years.
Right.
It's probably living like that. For the first 6 months, I loved it.
Yeah.
And after that, it was kind of like, didn't know how else to kind of enjoy myself. So when I was going back into work, my next job after that, I was working in a factory.
Right.
I was working in a factory, so my job was straightening sausages or helping beef burgers go through a machine.
Yeah.
And I lasted 3.5 weeks before I got sacked. Now you think, how can you get sacked working in the factory? Well, if you think one person's supposed to straighten the burgers before they go in the machine, and then for 1 hour every day that person's asleep in the bathroom, then
and who was that person? Was that you?
I used to have my own technique of falling asleep. How you normally sit on the toilet, you normally sit that way.
Yeah.
All I used to do is sit that way, get a toilet roll, squash it, put my head against the wall.
So we're getting some stories here with no noodles.
Professional at going to sleep. I could sleep anywhere. So yeah.
So when did you get into boxing? Because I knew you were a boxer and you were a good boxer. I've been told by quite a few people.
Well, when I left school, when I started playing, I started boxing. And when I started boxing, I did love everything about it. I loved I grew up with our granddad watching boxing.
So that where you got it from, yeah.
So it was just, I loved the skill of boxing. I loved getting fitter. I loved getting stronger. I loved people cheering when you were boxing. I loved competition. I loved the kind of one man v another man, like beating someone. I love people saying he's a boxer, he's hard. I loved it. I was getting muscles. Just really.
And how old were you then? When you said 19?
16.
16, sorry.
16.
When did you have your first fight?
I had my fight after about 6 months, which apparently is quite early. And I remember Ron Cave, my boxing trainer, every time I'd say, "Can you have a fight?" he'd say, "You're not ready. You're not ready yet. I'm just trying to find the right person. You're not ready." And then after 6 months, he said, "Tony, I found the right person. He's had 3 fights and he's lost them all. I think you're ready." And Ron always tells me this story. He said, in my first fight, after the fight, before the winner had been announced, I come at the corner and said, "Ronnie, get another one." And I just wanted another fight. I really, yeah.
Did you get the nerves? Because when I used to do the fighting myself, I used to get nerves and wean all the time.
Yeah.
Put the toilet prepared. How many peas can you have before? People say they don't get nerves and they're not scared, but everyone gets that fear, don't they?
Honestly, for me, I was just unbelievably excited. Thinking about the most excited you could possibly be.
Right.
That's how I was. I just couldn't wait to fight. But when I had my first boxing fight, this is how I remember thinking like this. In sparring, I was really going easy on the
opponents.
I was thinking it's like, it is your friend and you are learning. I thought as soon as I have a real fight, I'm really going to knock him out. Yeah. So I'm going to really try my hardest to knock him out. And then after my first fight, realising, all right, I've tried my best and everything. I didn't knock him out. Yeah. I thought I've got to learn to use a bit more skill rather than just trying to knock someone because I couldn't. Yeah. But I wasn't nervous when I boxed. I thought if I ever had a fight outside on the streets or anything like that, that was nervous. You're boxing people taller than you, bigger than you, massive. I was like 10 stone when I had this first fight. They can be using any weapons. The friends are joining from behind you. Yeah. But boxing, it wasn't that. I knew it was
you
just.
You got your corner, man. Somebody throw challenge, you're in trouble. You got the referee. Yeah. You know, so then you got.
I always just think I thought I'd win. I never thought about that I'd get beat. I always just thought I'm gonna win anyway, so I'm gonna win. I'm going to show off in front of all my friends and family. There's no one going to hit me in the like sometimes you're fighting and I remember once I was fighting in the Millennium and I was thinking, why can't I keep my balance as I'm fighting? And then the next day when I was combing my hair, I had all lumps and I said to my friends, I've got all lumps. And he said, oh yeah, as you were fighting someone was punched in the back of the head. Now in boxing, you never had that. In boxing, it's just you v somebody else. I never really got nervous. I just got excited. The only time I got nervous as if I wasn't training very hard. If you're not training hard, or you can't make the weight, so you're not making weight, so you're going to the fight week, then I was nervous, then it's just the worst feeling.
Yeah, I always say, because if you get beat, and you've trained to the hardest if you can be, and you've done the best you can, then better man. But if you don't train to the best of your ability, and you get beat, you always think it was that night when I went out for a drink, or it was this, so you can always,
exactly. Never excuses and whatever. And it's just a horrible feeling going into a fight not ready when you're feeling weak.
So what was the hardest fight you had?
Boxing. Yeah. The hardest fight that I had was someone called Craig Denton from Hartlepool. Right. And do
you still know him now?
No, but I knew him and his brother who's passed away now. Both very good lads. Right. Both turned professional. And Hartlepool Borough would always be my favourite place to box because the atmosphere was always electric. And I can remember in the dressing room before the fight, his brother was on, and you could hear all the stamping the feet, and then you know to get the atmosphere going.
Yeah.
But that kind of thing excited me, so I couldn't wait to get in and have a fight with his brother. And when I went in the ring and they were all clapping and stamping the feet, and I thought, good, I'm going to join in. So I started clapping, and it just ruined the atmosphere. Everyone stopped clapping. And,
it's not for you, it's for the other one.
Yeah. In the first 2 rounds, I was probably outboxing him, and the second 2 rounds, he was just all over me and bred me all over, to be fair. And
that was fitness-wise, I was just
fitness, he was stronger than me, fitter than me. Yeah. Like I say, it was that point where I wasn't fit. Every time I get beat, probably like everybody else, there's always a reason and an excuse.
Yeah.
And he was fit and strong, but that was the only time where I ever felt I was beat properly there. Yeah. So,
And how many fights did you have?
I don't know, it was somewhere between 60 and 80, but I stopped.
That's a lot. Yeah.
I stopped counting the times that I got beat.
Yeah.
So it was just like
I'm going to ask you that question. I'll just skip past that.
I had about 60 fights, 180, 100 knockouts. So
that's brilliant. Yeah. So, did you look at anyone of the fighters, like maybe Tyson, people out and look up to them as well, I'll be like that type of thing? Or do you have any top fighters you like?
Tommy Ends was my favourite to watch because he was tall and skinny like me, and
so
I just watched his fights continually. I loved watching him. But my favourite boxer of all time was Nigel Benn.
Yeah.
He's just the most exciting.
Strong, wasn't he? Very strong.
Yeah, strong as. I remember his fight with Gerald McClellan. Yeah. Most exciting fight I ever saw by a mile, and I remember just jumping up and down on the city in the front room. But I remember my last amateur fight, Nigel Benn was there.
Right.
And me and my friends, Ben Falager and Ricky Beadnall, they were with me, and we were all Christians. I said, and I knew he'd become a Christian. I told him we were Christians and things
he's a nice
like
man,
that.
Isn't he, Nigel Benn?
Oh, he's
a really nice man.
Bloke, and the talk was for about 15 minutes, prayed for us. He said, all this charity night and all this what we're thinking, like, just being with you lads here and talking and praying with us is meant more than anything. So, top bloke.
What the viewers are probably saying back home, when did you get into the church?
Yeah.
What was the catalyst for that?
I always grew up believing in God and praying.
Was your family?
Never knew. Our mum and dad weren't Christians. I'd never met another Christian. I'd never read the Bible. Nothing like that. But I always used to pray. But my prayers were more like, "Help me to be a better boxer. Help me to be fitter. Help me to be stronger." Kind of selfish prayers like that.
Yeah.
And
which you do as a younger, don't you? Everyone does it.
Yeah. A lot of people's prayers are like that when they're older, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I remember one night I was probably 19. I was on a night out in a pub. Do you remember the temple? That used to be a church, but turned into a pub on Linthorpe Road. Yeah. And I ended up having a fight with a bouncer there. And you know when you've had a fight and you're still angry and you still feel and you still want to keep fighting and
but you can't.
Emotional and all that kind of thing. And there's people who'd split up and all that. Yeah. Probably saved me from a good end, to be fair. Yeah. But in the middle of that, I was walking through Middlesbrough town centre. Yeah. And there was a bus there, and it was giving out soup to heroin addicts, prostitutes, drunks like me and my friends. And it was near McDonald's on Linthorpe Road, and everybody was torturing them. Everyone was calling them names, laughing at them. And they were just loving them in return and being nice and kind. And I thought, why does anybody behave like that? That's not the way you grow up in Middlesbrough.
You would be given the back type of thing.
If anybody even looks at you, like they're going to be like that, get stuck into them. Yeah. And if anyone calls your name, call them back worse, back worse. And I thought, why would anyone be like that? Then they started talking about Jesus like he was a friend of theirs, like they knew him personally. Yeah. Not only did they pray and talk to God, God spoke to them. I thought, that sounds like a good way to live. And they gave me this book called The Cross and the Switchblade. It was about a priest. He was in a little town called Pennsylvania. Yeah. And God spoke to him and said, go and work with the gangs in New York. And at this point, it was when heroin had first hit New York. Yeah. And he talked about how he prayed for people and they felt the Holy Spirit. And not only was the Holy Spirit a better buzz than heroin, it set them free from heroin addiction. So I thought, if this is real, if God speaks to you, he's got a plan for your life, and you can experience his spirit, and that experience is better than drugs. That's got to be the best way to live. So I started praying, but I was living just exactly the same as I was before, but now I was praying. My prayers more now, God, I want to meet you, I want to know you. And 2001, I was on holiday in Ibiza, Michael called Manumission, there for the drugs. There was a sex show, and I was there for that. And as I was kind of on drugs there, I felt the Holy Spirit. I felt God speaking to me, and it was a good feeling, but I felt terrible at the same time. I felt terrible about the way I was living my life. I thought about our nan who died recently, being disappointed with the way I was living. Yeah. And I felt God speak to me and say, you've been asking me for things, I've been giving you them, now I want you to give something to me. I thought, what can I give God? And I thought, he must be talking about drugs. What can I give God? He must be saying stop taking drugs. So that was the last time I ever touched a drug. Then I started reading the Bible, and it said in Romans 12, in view of God's mercy, offer your body to be a living sacrifice. So I knew when God was saying give something to me, what he was saying is me live for him, offer my body as a living sacrifice. So that was the kind of, my journey with becoming a Christian was never I didn't believe, then I believe. It was more of a progression of getting to know God and going more intimate with him. So, and that through reading the Bible.
Some people just get it done and change overnight. Sometimes, the death story and the change done because of that. Something has to be a big, massive thing before they'll pray for the child to be saved, and they're saved and they come to God. But yours was like slowly building up.
You know, my wife's a doctor, and this is an amazing story. One of her friends who works in a hospital out of the area. Me and my wife are friends with them too, and when we talked about God, and they just were never particularly interested. She said that she was there when there was a couple, and that couple had a baby, and it was a stillbirth, and the baby died, and they said bring the baby to life, put the suctions on it and thing. They're trying for half an hour. They said the baby was going blue. I said, look, I'm sorry, and they were going crying, please try one more time. They were not, and they just said they started crying out, shouting, praying for God, and the baby come back to life. And they're like, so not only the faith of them talking about something back to life, then
and these are professional doctors, or
they're more skeptical of skeptic.
Exactly.
If you think about skeptical, doctors are the most skeptical ever. And so she like, there's something in this. I've seen a baby that was dead for 30 minutes. All the vital signs.
We had another guest on called John Wedger, and his son had died, and he went into a room and he prayed to in the chapel to everything. Please let me be alive. If you can help me with this, I'll help these children. And he went back in. His son was dead. I thought his brain dead. And about 20 minutes, he come back to life. Phenomenal. His eyes opened and everything. So the same thing happened to him. So it has happened, doesn't it? It's just phenomenal.
And that's the thing with.
So when did you really want to get into the church and be what would you class yourself as a?
I would.
The church.
I'm a team leader. I'd lead a team of volunteers, but I wouldn't even know.
Some church,
some people call it. I'd be evangelist, pastor people. It's just a born again Christian, Jesus' best friend. I like to consider myself.
A lot of people don't know this, but I only learned this as well. When you get baptised, you're just all the same. No one's higher because they've been a Christian for like 30 years. Even if you've only been for a week or something, you're all the same, aren't you? So there's nothing like a sergeant major, captain, a general. Everyone's the same. They're all Christians together.
In Romans 12, it talks about the church being like the body, and it says the finger doesn't say I'm more important to the eye, or the knee's not more important than the toe. It's all part of the body. It's all important, and we use it all. And that's the same as the church. We're all vital. The person who's making the cup of tea and the person who's welcoming people is as important as the person who's preaching, because we are the church, we are Christ's body. But when I first become a Christian, I suppose I was quite arrogant, because I thought, I'll find God for myself, I'll read the Bible for myself, I'll know what that says. So for probably a year and a half of considering myself a Christian, I still hadn't been to church. And then when I started going to the church, I kind of go to church and leave. I went to a church where all the rest of the congregation were older ladies, so I didn't have any Christian friends for probably the first 5-6 years. But then I met my wife Steph, and we helped the local church started working with the kids and things like that. And then I become good friends with Peter Conroy and Ben Falager, and that's when my faith really started rocking, because I was I had somebody I could talk about Jesus with, like we do when we have a Bible study, and it's exciting talking about God, and you start buzzing on, you start sharpening each other, you're learning from each other, growing with each other. So being part of a church and part of Tees Valley Community Church now, with a lot of people who love Jesus and a lot of people who are inspiring each other and encouraging each other. If you think about God, we haven't all got the full picture. I don't know everything about God. You don't. We all don't know everything, but we're just sharing what we know, sharing revelation, and that's how we've grown. Sharing out to share our faith. When I love praying for people to be healed, and I've prayed for hundreds, probably over 1,000 people who've been healed in front of my eyes, from deaf, blind, legs growing. And I wouldn't have known how to do that unless I'd seen other people do it. Through seeing other people do it, from hearing other people, it sparked my faith to believe that was me. So I believe that the church was massively important. I got involved probably about 2007 properly.
I think it's when you're together as like a team, like a football team, if you want to say it. There's like Carl and my wife Emma, and you and me and my brother and things like that. We're all together. It's like you're together as family, and we are family members, aren't we? So we all love each other, and we like each other, love each other, and we respect each other. And sometimes one will be down, the other one will be up, and you all help each other, don't you? So that's what I like about it, being Christian, because it's totally different. But when you go in that sea, when did you get dumped? Who dumped you? I've never asked you that question.
I got baptised in probably 2011, so that's 2007. I'd been a Christian for ages before I got baptised. The church that I was going to, they were done the sprinkling on the head at the time. But then when I got started at Tees Valley Community Church, then I was like, I want to get baptised. Because when I read the Bible, I see submerged, you know what I mean? The baptism,
like John the Baptist.
So
Did you feel different when you got from the sprinkling? Did you feel different when you get into the sea?
Do you know, for me, baptism, it's like a prophetic picture of the old person dying, and the new person coming to life. So when I felt that had already happened to me before. So when we baptised you,
did you ever think Brian Cockerill would get baptised? Truthfully,
I certainly never thought it would be me baptised. Put it that way. I'd never.
Did you ever think the tax plan's going to change?
But I can remember Carl Valley, when me and Carl baptised, he's like, as if we're going to baptise Brian Cockerill. So it wouldn't have been.
But I just come out of the blue with it, didn't I? Said to you, can I get baptised? Can I do this? You went, and you were like, wow. Well,
you've been on the journey of starting to get known, and it's like a line in the sand. It's like, yes, I do want to devote my life to Jesus, isn't it? But you'd had that kind of, I believe, that born again experience when you were in there. So when you get out and you were like, this is the best day of my life. That was like, you'd encountered him, and you'd have a proper spiritual encounter with God, and come to live inside you, and there's nothing like that.
You said a few times when we were in there, we were talking, you felt the Holy Spirit in me and things like that, but it takes my breath away and it comes in. It's like, you just, it's like being KO'd, everything.
How would you describe that day when you got baptised?
I thought it was brilliant. Emma was there and everything, my wife, and you and Carl were all up, like me as my brother and yourself, and it was great, and it was freezing cold. I couldn't believe the coldness of it. But when they dropped me, by the way, everybody. They dropped me in the sea, they drowned me. I said, my wife kept me when they dropped me. Carl, you dropped me. Tony saved me and my wife. But when I got out the sea, I was like warm. I said, I feel like I've got a sort of armour on you. I said, that's what it is, like a sort of armour. So it was mad. But
I know a lot of people, when you pray for them, they say, I feel hot. And John the Baptist talked about Jesus. And he said, someone greater than's come on me, and I'll baptise you with the Holy Spirit and fire. And a lot of the times when people get prayed for, or they get baptised, or they get baptised in the Holy Spirit, they do feel that fire.
I nearly baptised myself, didn't I?
You were very keen, very excited.
So what do you think with this virus and everything going on? What do you think the world's like at the moment? It's really hard, isn't it, for people?
I think people are struggling. People are struggling with their mental health and fears. Fear's a massive think fear really grips people. For me, we should be careful of the virus. Do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Keep your distance, wear your mask, don't be holding hands and things like that. But don't let it. There's a spiritual thing called fear, and us as Christians, we don't want to be walking in fear. When I cross I live right next to Stewart's Park, and we go to Stewart's Park probably every other day with my girls. I've got 3 young kids. When I'm taking over the road, make sure, oh man, careful, all that kind of thing. And we cross the road. If I start thinking fear, what if this car hits him? What if Eden, stop running, stop.
Yeah.
If I start thinking fear really gets a massive grip on me.
I always say fear. The scariest part of fear is fear itself.
Yeah.
You start thinking, it's like people have panic attacks, they start have a panic attack and then they have the panic attack.
Yeah.
It's that psychological thing, isn't it? Where you let that fear release.
Yeah.
And it takes over.
Yeah.
It takes you, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I think do what we're supposed to do, but we can't live in fear. The fear is just not the right way to live. It really ruins
Jesus
people's
wouldn't want you
lives.
that way. God wants you to live right for you. Like with Christians, that you say you've got freedom, haven't you? You don't have to do what they tell you to do. You can go to church as long as you want. You still want them, but when you get that baptised, you just feel like you've got a shield around you and you feel good. And Nicky Coulson, my friend, he's been texting me quite a lot lately. He's a nice lad, and he's lovely lad. It's just lovely way to do it the other week, me and my wife and everything. But lovely, I've got loads of kids, and well, it was mad, but it was great to see him, and we've all changed. A lot of people have changed, yourself, and it's fantastic that you can sit and help people, and we help people on the podcast, we help people on the thing, but it's all through Jesus Christ who's telling me what to do and pushing me that way and telling me to help people. And the old life is gone now, because it's totally done. I'm never going to be on them now. I was on the drug myself, worse than anyone, but if I can get out of it, anyone can. But the main thing for me is I've got like my family, which is you, Emma, Carl, everyone at me, one family. But I've got Jesus with my heart, and the stony heart's gone now, the fleshy heart's here. And we're walking in the light now instead of the dark, so it just feels great. Go to bed at night, feel great, and get up in the morning, feel great. I always have little days where you're a bit down, and then I phone Tony Grainge and I feel great. Well, it's fantastic, and I'm not joking to everyone. Jesus is real, and Tony's telling the truth, and Emma's telling the truth. It is a fantastic life with Jesus in our hearts.
That story you said about the other day when Emma said, I really think that you should phone this fella.
Yeah, you can tell me, wife.
Right, so the other day somebody messaged Brian and he sounded really down and he said he was in a real bad place. So Brian said, I'll message him later because we were going out at the time. And then I just said, I've got a funny feeling that you need to phone him now. And I started ringing him on Facebook. I said, we've got to speak to him. And we spoke to him, didn't we?
So I phoned him up and I spoke to him, I said, how you doing and all that, and started talking. He says, anyway, got through everything, it was all right, and he left a message saying, if it wasn't for you, he said, I was going to do something stupid, I was going to jump off the bridge. So if we'd have phoned him that day, he wouldn't be here, but there's still Jesus again. But there was another one, well, 2 or 3 hours later, wasn't it? And there was another one the next day, so three in 2 days phoned up. It was suicidal, but through this lockdown, a lot of it's depression. But we've 28 people we've saved now in nearly 12, just under 12 months from talking them down. We're getting army lads off the streets, we're helping people, and I think it's not for money or anything. We don't get paid for anything. It's just great to be able to help someone, another human being.
Yeah, class. I think that's one of the God speaks to people like that a lot. Phone John, phone someone for I wonder how things doing. How God speaks to us. Main ways through the Bible, but he speaks to our spirit. So when he speaks to our spirit, it actually sounds like me, because he's speaking to my spirit. He's not speaking out here in this booming voice. He does sometimes, but generally it's to your spirit. So it sounds like you. So for anybody talking about mental health and suicide being rife in Teesside at a minute, if someone's on your heart to phone them, don't wait off. Phone them later on. Phone them, just give them a ring and give them a text message. I know people feel better by just a text message. How you doing? Been thinking about your day. Everything's all right. And I know I need to get better at that. And I know we, as a community of people, we do need to get better at just keeping in touch.
Even like saying hello to one of the neighbours. So somebody wanted on say good morning or afternoon or it makes the day a little bit, just talking a little bit. Weather's bad or something. Because sometimes when people don't see anyone live on their own, they're depressed and things, and just being polite and kindness and being kind to one each other, loving people, but I think there's not enough love in the world. I think that's what's gone. I think people have to love each other, and but we've got that love, but we can love each other and love other people. I think it's a good thing, because keeps us going, doesn't it?
It's all about love, isn't
Yeah, that's what it's about.
I think we kind of can get stuck being comfortable by yourself behind your own closed doors, life revolving around the telly and that, rather than being out, you know what I mean, fresh air, face to face, talking to people, and there's something missing in a sense of community. What me working in Easterside would be, obviously with COVID, it's more or less all stopped, but trying to bring people into a community, whether it be through a kids dance class, a football team, obviously Middlesbrough Lighthouse.
If I hadn't
It's
gone
about
to the
community.
Lighthouse, I don't know where I'd be today. Do you know? And that's the truth.
But it does help you a lot, doesn't it? And when you go there, because when I first, I know I've said this in other podcasts, I didn't, I was talking, going, I'll be alright, going, he was going, you'll be alright, buddy, you'll be alright. I was going, so you just said that, I was like, it's stuck down my lightning bulb. And they went, oh, there's the tax man, there's the tax man. I was like, they even knew me, look after that. I'm going to be burned here, something mistake. And it was fantastic, and people were dancing and jumping the ball, and you got spaghetti bolognese afterwards, it was great. But it was lovely, there was no one judges you, did it? It's just really good fun. And you go home and you just go to bed and you feel elated, you feel really relaxed, and when you go on all that tension, all that hatred, and all that horribleness in you, which I used to have, that's my face, I'm doing this, and sometimes you still get it a little bit, but it's nowhere near like the old days. But when you go into bed angry and getting up angry every day, your life isn't, you're not really living, you're just existing. I think when you've got Jesus in your heart and you do your little prayers and you think, I'm grateful to have this house, I'm grateful to be married to my wife, I'm grateful for Tony to be my friend and be another Christian with me, I'm grateful to have food on the table. So you don't have to, you can go and do a good thing like talk to someone or help somebody across the road with a bit of bag of shopping, and think, you can go to bed and think, well, I had a good day, I helped the old lady across the road, I opened the door for that bloke, I did this. So you don't have to go to bed thinking, like, I need to win £1,000 to have a good day. I need to, you know, so you don't have to wake up when your heart thinking. Don't get me wrong, you need money to survive, but it's not all about money and stuff, is it? Big posh cars and things like that. It's all about, I think it's about helping each other as well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think, I know before I was a Christian, pride and ego was a massive thing to me, and that's probably why I like boxing. I remember a couple of times, I got hit and I never hit the person back. Both times because a dear friend of mine, Craig Chapman, talked me out of it, and he was like, even though he's a flipping big, over 20 stone rugby player, a rock hard lad, he was always trying to stop fights. So when I got hit by these lads and didn't do anything, I remember laying in bed and I couldn't sleep on a night. I just couldn't sleep because I never done. The winning or losing wasn't the thing, but just being it and not doing anything, I couldn't sleep.
It feels a bit cowardly, though.
Yeah, just like probably drive me mad.
Yeah.
But then, as a Christian, it's like if anybody says anything to insult me or upset me, or it's like I can easily forgive people now. It's not because it's my strength.
How long does it take to do that? Does it take you a long time to think of?
I always think it's knowing the truth. Because if you know the truth and know Jesus is, the truth sets you free. So it's like knowing what God's forgiven me of. God's forgiven me of everything that I've ever done and everything that I will do. So if somebody's called me a name or somebody's slagging me off, then it doesn't matter. If someone's pinched something from me, and obviously all them things have happened. Someone's said bad things about my family, and does it matter in the grand scheme of things when Jesus have said, bless those who persecute you? So my idea is now, if someone said anything bad about me, is in my heart, I want to love them. I really want this person to know Jesus. I don't want this person living without them. I want them to know him, and I know God wants them to know.
Do you find
Jesus
that hard sometimes to do? Or did you find it hard to love someone who was calling you or wanting to hit you or whatever?
For so long, it's hard to think that. But
I'm putting you on the spot tonight.
Good. I'm just reflecting. The hardest thing for me, when I would end up fighting, even as a Christian, was playing football.
Right.
Because football was competitive, and because I was a centre midfielder, and I was usually scrapping and because I was fit and tough tackling and all that kind of thing. I'd end up fighting on the football pitch more than, so I suppose then I would be. I forget that I haven't always been as holy and pure.
But you've got to grow up. When you're a kid, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when you grow up now, so it's easy for you now. I know that. You tell me all the time. And I'm down a bit. Obviously, I've only been in this game so long, but I feel easy. Yeah,
so you grow up one way thinking this is. If you've grown up your life thinking, if someone hurts me, I'm going to hurt them back.
When your mum and dad says, get out there and get stuck in and things like that, as you probably yourself, it's hard, isn't it, to change?
You're rewiring your brain, so again in Romans 12 it says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Yeah.
We've grew up one way, and we've grew up protecting myself, what's best for me, what's my family. And we all grow up that, and then we become a Christian, we get a brand new nature, we become born again, we become Christ-like. But our mind and the way we think, it's had however many years of kind of garbage, pollution, the worldly way of thinking. So although you're a new person, you have to learn how to think and how you. And that does take time.
It's a bit like the Catholics and Protestants where we're from in Scotland. Taught them Catholics and they go, "Is your girlfriend? Is she a Protestant? Or is she Catholic?" You're crazy, isn't it? All the thing and Muslims with others will fight, and it's all different, crazy. I think there's no bad religions at all. I think everyone prays different in different ways. But the thing is, with there's good and bad in every religion, isn't there? There's good and bad in every human being. So we're all in the same boat, aren't we? Every one of us.
I think if you look at a lot of even the kind of the self-help teachings or things like The Secret or Praying to the Universe or the Muslims, they all have a lot of similarities with Christianity and the way you're supposed to live. I think the difference with the Christian faith is Jesus said, I'm the way, the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. So I believe that the only way to get a relationship with God is through Jesus. It is through the cross. It is through knowing what he paid on the price, where he took everything that we've ever done wrong. He paid the penalty for us. So I don't come to God. I'm a good person. Look at all these good things I've done. I come to God. Thank you, Jesus. Everything you've done on that cross where you were punished for what I deserved. And then that produces gratefulness in me. I'm so thankful what Jesus went through that. It's a natural response for me to live my life for him. And knowing even on my toughest day, it's such a short space of time. Anyway, I'm only on this earth 8 years if we're lucky. We're going to be in eternity with Jesus.
With treasure.
With treasure. We're going to get you on treasure. But it's, kidding aside, it is a good feeling, isn't it, when you've got nothing better in the world than having Jesus. When you've prayed for me sometimes, I've got that feeling of this sort of drugs. I'm like, oh, and I'm gone. What's he doing here? And it's not me, I'm not easy. I'm the most skeptical person in the world. And when things happen, it can't all be coincidence. Unbelievable. When we prayed for someone, a friend of me, one day, and they were in real trouble with each other. Years and years. And
looking to kill each other. They'd actually been physically trying to kill each other
for years. And we prayed, and about half an hour later, I got a phone call from this person, that's met this person, and made friends. We were like, wow, Jesus is real.
They've been trying to kill each other, run each other over, and stab each other. The same day they made friends. Now that's a miracle. That's not a coincidence.
Cal was there one day. He said, I can't believe it. There's so many things.
To remind you of that.
What's that?
No, it's Brian. I was going to ask you it.
What she asked me to ask you?
No, you said you were going to ask Tony. Not straight away now. Just do that.
When? No, it's all right. It's all right. So.
About being sceptical. Like I say, with Steph being a doctor, she's been more sceptical about people receiving the Holy Spirit, and it can be like a church culture. You won't have known when you pray for people that you have this feeling, and Steph thought the only reason that people fall down at church when they get prayed for is because they see everybody else doing it. And I remember me and Ben Falaja and Steph, we took some young lads from Winniebanks to church, and we took them upstairs. And I remember a good friend of mine, Andy Walker, when he first come, he'll have been 15 here, him and his friends. And Ben started praying for him, and he'd never been to church, never knew a thing. Ben was praying for him, then we just hit the deck, and he was out. And then when he got up, don't know if it was 2 minutes, 5 minutes later, he was angry, went bright red, he was fuming, he was running, it was like this.
Yeah.
And Steph said, you know, I always thought people just done it because they felt that was I was supposed to do what now I can see now. It was the first time he went to church, he never knew he was supposed to fall down. He didn't want to fall down. He's done it involuntary. I've never felt down.
Have you ever felt backwards and you said take train or like that?
No, what?
Doesn't ever get you that way.
Yeah.
It took me a few times that way, hasn't it? You, because you said you're still thinking with the Holy Spirit type thing. I went, it takes my breath away. It takes me right in the middle of the not my heart, in the middle of my stomach.
I remember I've had some powerful I think I struggle relaxing around people, if I'm honest. I think it's that. So my favourite way to engage with God is laying down by myself, soaking, just quiet by myself. I sat down, laid down. I remember one of the most powerful encounters I had. I felt the bottom of the bed squeak down. Yeah. And I sat up, looked up, thought there's someone coming in the room, but I knew no one was in. I knew it was God. And I laid down. I felt God like he was pushing on me that heavy that I felt the bed like squeaking as he was felt like waves rolling all over me. And I remember the first thing whenever I felt God's presence before, I always want to be like, repent. Oh God, I'm so sorry for the things that I've. But then I felt God say, just enjoy me. So like that, what I always try and encourage any person who's a Christian, the first thing you've got to do is enjoy God. You don't want your relationship with God being a works thing. Got to do this, must do this, have to do this. It's to enjoy God, learn to enjoy being with Him.
Yeah, because we don't have to pray a certain amount of times. We don't have to do. There's no rules, is there? In Christian. Like God follows us, sort of thing, doesn't He?
Yeah.
So if you walk in the footsteps of Jesus, that's the way to live, isn't it?
Jesus got up before all his disciples, and so he could be alone with his Father. Yeah. He stayed up. Sometimes it says he prayed right the way through the night. I don't think they seem that true. I think he loved being with God. What I want to do and what I do is I love being with God. That's something for me to get excited about. Oh, I've got an hour through the day. I'm going to be able to just sit and be with God. And that for me is amazing. When I first heard about the Christian faith, that spurred me on to thinking, God speaks to you and He's got a plan for your life. And now, experiencing that, God speaking to me and He's got a plan for my life, there is nothing like that. You told me when you were working out the other day.
I did, it was weird. I was like coming from everywhere, things like you talking. I was on one, for ages, coming down, she was laughing a bit, but like, what's going on with him? It's all coming out, all these words and everything, but it does help you. But you said a good thing to me the other day, that God sent Jesus down to change, because the old one was an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And it needs to turn the cheek and things like that. So He changed the whole different way of perspective of thinking than the old ways.
Like the Old Testament, if someone took your eye out in court, it was like you do that. Jesus said if someone slaps one cheek, turn the other. And that's not just forget about it, be like a victim. It's like, oh, I have more. If someone sues you and takes your coat, give them your jumper. And that's the idea for us. It's all love. It's not just be a victim, be bullied. We're not. We're laying our lives down. We're laying things down. Some Christians say being a Christian isn't being a doormat. And I say being a Christian isn't being a doormat. It's being a doormat with a shoe shine at the end. Let somebody speak badly, treat badly, and you still love them at the end. You don't just take it. You look, how can I bless and love? And
look at Jesus when He knew that He was what was going to happen. When He kissed him on the cheek, wasn't it? Judas, He knew, didn't He? Still loved him, didn't He? Cuddled him and that. He just knew. And He knew the pain where He's going to go through and everything. So He did it just for us, didn't He? So take some bottle of that, doesn't it?
Incredible, and that's our example, isn't it? Jesus, Jesus is the visible image of the invisible God. So if we think, what's God like? We look at Jesus. We look at Jesus' life, and we see that's whose image I'm in now. Now I'm a born again Christian. Jesus lives inside me. That's the way to live. So I read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. I read the Gospels. I look at Jesus' life, and I'm like, that's the way I want to live. That's what I want to be. But it's not a self-effort thing. It's not, I'm really going to try today. I'm going to do my best. It's not like that. It's through a relationship with God. That's what comes out of me. When I'm reading the Bible, worshiping and praying and soaking, what comes out of me, it's natural to love people. It's not natural for me when I'm not praying. I think it's not natural. It's an effort. When I'm with Jesus, it's natural to love. Yeah.
Do you think, you said to me, that obviously people know I've been shot at and stabbed it with bars.
Yeah.
Nearly killed it how many times, attacked in Barnsley Bank.
Yeah.
And you're saying I was saved for that purpose to come and probably help
Yeah.
people now, and that's what I've been
Yeah.
doing, haven't I?
Yeah.
But do you say your life's, God's got a purpose, people say to me, do you think
Yeah.
that's true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I 100%. Now, I don't believe God wanted you shot, stabbed at, and doing the things that you've done, but I do believe God can redeem every bad situation and everything that you got from. There's something in Genesis where it talks about Joseph, and it says what the devil meant for harm, God brought around for good. Yeah. And I know everything in your life, you can bring it around for good, and I know that's why a lot of people are reaching out for you. Because through your book and your story, you're open and vulnerable about your struggles and say, look, I've done these horrible things. I've been in these horrible places. I've been in the darkest places in my bedroom, and I've come out of it, and I know there's a way out of it. And that's right. Your story, your testimony, and your testimony of what Jesus can do, and the testimony of being, it's a light.
And you know what's strange as well, the first day that Brian got in touch with me, you were with me that day, weren't you? On my birthday, do you remember? We went for breakfast.
I haven't seen it for 30 years.
Do you remember when I first told you I was coming up for the night?
Yeah, I was going to ask him that. And he said, well, tell everyone the truth. Come on, you've got to know.
Well, I remember when Emma
I was going to ask him that. Go on.
Bear in mind, I've been very close to Emma for 3 years, like incredible. Like she would be like, if I was looking at people I'd be disciple, Emma would be like number one class and honest and open with the things.
So there you are, Dean.
And then when she would, she never mentioned you, no. but she said, I used to know Brian Cockerill, you know, and I was like, what? And I thought like people say I used to know blah blah because I said hello in the nightclub, and then she said, no, I used to go out with him, whatever. And I was like, what? And then she started telling me some stories, and then she said she was thinking about getting back in touch with you. I was thinking, have you absolutely lost your mind? Because I'd always said to Emma, you've got a terrible taste in men. Why don't I choose your husband? Or choose a good godly man from church? Yeah. And then she said, I'm going around Brian Cockerill's, and I'm like, you've got to be me up. So no, I didn't think it was a good idea. I thought it was a bad idea.
What did she always say? Is that what you think? He's got a good heart, didn't she?
She did always say that. She said, what you've seen on the documentary of the story, she said when Brian was he wasn't like that. But she obviously didn't know what you were like now. She said when you were younger, when she knew you in your 20s, she said you were always. She said he was a bit. She said he was a bit naive. Yeah, he said he had a good heart and he was a little bit naive, and but then obviously. Yeah,
but do you think Jesus and His ultimate wisdom put us together? That we were meant to be, you think? I do.
Now? Well, when
you went to that first, what was it like?
When our first seniors got together, I seen how happy Emma was, and I see how happy as well with each other, and I saw like the childlike. And when we was in the marriage, sometimes I don't believe that. I believe that a wedding, I know it's a godly thing, it's a good thing, it's God designed, but I don't believe that Jesus is at every wedding. Some weddings you go to, it's not there, do you know what I mean? And not that I am the oracle, and I know, but I don't believe that God's put every couple together. When we were at your wedding, you could just feel the Holy Spirit in the air. You could feel it there. And
it was just you. That was everyone when it was.
Yeah. And you said when I said that, you said a lot of people had said that to you. I thought it was.
It was meant to be.
Incredible. Yeah. And then when I was talking to Emma yesterday, I thought this is the happiest I've ever known Emma. Do you know what I mean? And I remember when you first become a Christian and you said this is the happiest I've ever been. Yeah. And then when I was talking to you yesterday, when I was off the phone, calling me out midnight, telling me how buzzing you were about different things, I was like, this is definitely the
happiest. That's because I bought them pyjamas yesterday. I want a present, she was singing to me all day. Yeah. So we're really happy, and because a lot of it's to do with Tony as well. We've had ups and downs like everyone does, don't we? But we've all gone through this virus
and
thing.
Then he accepted Jesus.
The keys working through it, isn't it? If you look at me and my wife, that we don't have an to fall out. No, you just got to have that.
We asked somebody tonight, didn't we? Who's the nicest man on the planet? I haven't met him yet, but he's a beautiful man with a beautiful wife. And even he said, yes, I want the sons.
We solve each other somehow. So the key is, it's how you resolve it. You've got to have that heart to work it through. And when you make that marriage and the commitment is you're laying your life down for Emma.
Yeah, you have to love your wife more than Jesus said, didn't he?
So lay your life down as Jesus laid his life down for the church. We know what he done. He died for the church, so you must lay you down for your wife.
No, I would.
And the wife, you submit to your husband. So it's this
listening.
we kind of get into marriage or relationships often for what the person can do for us, but the godly way is, what can I do for that person?
She went out with me when I lived in a little 2-bedroom thing. The house with my mates. I used to stay in the thing, and she had a little flat. So we got on with each other even then. So she's the same. If we never had nothing, we lived in a tent, we'd still be in love, wouldn't we, babe? Yeah. So you shaking your head, is that yes? Yeah, thank you. Just for the viewers. Have I still got it? So 30 years ago I knew Emma, and we drifted apart and got back together. Crazy, wasn't it? And when I checked this thing on Facebook, I'd never been on it before. She popped up and I thought, wow, and then it was a birthday, unbelievable. There was so many coincidences, unbelievable. And we were together for, what was it, a week, babe? Yeah. We got a tattoo each. I got her name and she got mine, and we got the rings and we got married, and we asked Tony, didn't he? He did us get married.
No, he didn't.
Against our religion, technically. So we got married because I wanted to marry you, didn't I? So I got engaged in the car park, didn't he? And it wasn't the greatest thing of place. I got Teesside Park, you have to get married to her.
He said, I'll save the ring till we get home, and then we couldn't wait. And I went bright red and was going, no.
People walk by looking at us under the car park at Teesside Park. What? Best thing to do is it? It's in your heart and it's to do it, so.
I forgot about the tattoo.
You've got about the tattoo. So how are you feeling through this COVID thing? You were bad a bit, weren't you?
Yeah, at the very start, I was bad for a week in bed.
Yeah.
Didn't tell many people because I love praying for people to be healed. I knew a lot of my friends who aren't Christians torture me, so I really kept. In March,
it was like nearly everyone at the wedding got it.
I mean, their fault, And
you remember first come here and she had bad tonsils, and that was the best night.
Do you remember when I was on fire?
Yeah.
So you were at the wedding, everyone ever give you the virus.
So I was bad with that for a bit, but because my wife's a doctor, she works in paediatrics, she's a paediatrician, so we don't take any chances with the kids. So kids got tested a couple of days ago. Anytime there's like a cough or whatever,
it's horrific though, isn't it? What they're doing, shove that thing up the nose. I've seen it on there. I'm not getting that done.
What does it put your piercing?
Really bad.
Really?
It pierces.
No, one of his daughters, he'll tell you, it's funny as the thing, he'll tell her what happened.
So when I got it done, there were I was like, done, knacked, and the nurse was like, oh, it's always the men who complain the most. And I was like, she must have been like a man here. He was killed. And then they done my two daughters got done this week. 7-year-old Bo, got done first. When it went up one nostril, she's crying her eyes out, saying, I don't want it. And then my 3-year-old Eden, she was excited, going, me next, I want to go. So, I don't know what she was expecting.
She has no fear because she's only 3, you see, but you know when I was 7, obviously got that. That's what happens, isn't it?
She's a beautiful owl.
She's a wild one.
Great kid, that's great. You've got a chat, you've got his house.
He's
got a thing for we get a tree house ready for them.
Yeah, for us.
So that's for us. That's for me and you if we get kicked out of our house, isn't it?
Class kids, best kids.
So do you do any training now or anything, or do you?
I've just, with the age of the kids,
it's hard work.
It's hard to find the time, spare time to go to the gym. So I do a bit in the back garden, but I know Carl Valley's started this boot camp, so I started doing some training, some boxing, and I do the kettlebells in the back garden, try and go for a run. In the last 8 weeks, I've lost nearly a stone. I've just started training again. I just started doing a bit. I do feel a lot better.
What does the black seed oil feel like? But I've been on the black seed oil. Emma's been on it. I think it's been fantastic. and easier now for people, because our friend Paul Kitchener does it, doesn't he, from Red Car, and I've had that black seed oil, I took it. What was that like walking upstairs?
If anyone's thinking about doing black seed oil, who's having arthritis and in pain and things like that, when Brian went to take it, we drove up, me, Brian and Emma, on the way in the car, Brian was saying, my knees are killing, I'm in agony, and obviously I prayed and that. And
didn't work.
and I'd remembered 3 weeks before that, when you'd done a podcast in Newcastle, and I remember you walking up the stairs and pulling the banister, and you were clearly in pain with your knees walking up the stairs. So I'd seen you sat and being in pain, I'd seen you struggle walking up the stairs, and then we drove to Bishop Auckland, was it, for an MRI scan? Hartlepool. And saw your knees were alright on the way there. And as we were walking up the stairs, you pushed me out the way and said, get up, and started running up the stairs. And I went,
what's going on with you?
I said, what's going on? And you said that black seed oil, in the space of 5 days, has done that. So I've seen the black seed oil work in your life.
Unbelievable.
Now, when you had been telling me about that black seed oil, like everything, you're ridiculously sceptical, aren't you?
Of course you are.
Someone says something, there's been a miracle. If you look on YouTube, there's a miracle, there's a different miracle thing every. So I was thinking, well, let's see then. It's saying, let's see. Because it is quite expensive as well.
It is, yeah.
But then when you started taking it, and you've done that for flipping, it works. I've never saw anything like that before. So if anybody is feeling that kind of stiffness in the joints and the other thing,
my hand was, I couldn't even make a fist, and I'm trading and everything, I'm moving about, doing the weights, so I'm still a little bit of pain in my knees, but compared to what I was, I'd say 90% better. It's brilliant. It's the only thing it tastes like creosote. It's horrible taste, but it's horrible taste.
Are you still taking it?
But you've lost. She's lost weight on that. I've lost body fat on that.
Yeah.
And you've lost 10 pounds, haven't you? So, and that's in less than 2 weeks. So it's really good. So if you want that, see Paul Kitchen up there. Where is he at?
We'll put a link on.
Yeah, we'll put a link on for you. So it's really good. So we'll leave it there then. So.
Oh, you want to tell Tony about his unhealthy smoothies?
Oh yeah.
I'm going to get publicly reviewed.
He's having smoothies. Now let me tell these people back home, tip of the day I usually know. I'll give you tip of the night tonight. What it is he's right when he said about the fruit. Now if you had an apple or a pear or a banana and you ate it, then it would digest because you eat it in pulp, so it goes to your stomach. But when you mix it and smooth it and mix it in, it goes into liquid, so it can't digest it. What it does, it stores in the glycogen in your liver and you gather more fat. So that's why the kids are putting so much weight on these smoothies. They think they're doing right, but if you check it up and have a look,
but the black seed oil clears all the kidneys. That's probably why you've lost abs.
Yeah, but that's what it does. The smoothies are full of sugar. There's more sugar in the smoothie than there is actually in tins of Coke and things. So if you're going to eat the fruit, eat it.
Doing that, don't you? As well.
If you're going to eat the fruit, eat it whole, and you'll digest it. Yeah.
The thing, the main thing about smoothies is I love fruit and the kids love fruit. What we don't love is vegetables. So I can get broccoli, kale and spinach in, so the fruit kind of disguises the taste. So that's why
it's on the backs of young kids because they're in the mouth. They can make the only way to get rid of the glycogen is it's like a battery in your body. You have to burn it up. So when it's in your liver, you can digest it. You can oxidise it by running about and doing stuff like you do. But if you're just sitting about, kids who go just on the computer all day, that's why they're getting so big through the smoothies and things. So
we don't make sure they get out and about the kids.
So it's been fantastic having Tony here. It's been absolutely brilliant, and Emma, and we love everyone. So thanks very much.
Yeah, cheers. And any questions or any thoughts on, especially on faith or anything like that, I would love to answer. But God bless everyone.
God bless everyone. Love you all. And,